All right, welcome to Photoshop party number 7321. Today we're going to talk about the new stuff in Adobe Camera Raw, which most of it is in Lightroom for those who use Lightroom. So this got some cool stuff. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So let's go ahead and begin. Let me share my screen so we can see what we're doing. Oh, wow, would you look at that? West Coast School is coming up June 8th through the 13th, 2025 at the Valencia, uh, is it
I,
Hyatt Valencia? Yeah. Hey, I'm still tired from Texas school. That one wore me out.
hey,
That
Texas is history.
I know, and I had some great students in my class. It was a lot of fun, so we had a good time. Um, anyway, if you are a person that's looking for a discount, ask for the Mikey discount. Um, so we can fill my class up 100%. I want to overfill it, make Mel work to get me a new room because my room was pretty last year, but it was pretty small too. I need a big room. I need lots of people. So anyway, June 8th through the 13th, Photoshop 0 to 60 in a week. For those that attended West or Texas school, we had a great time. West Coast school is even better because it's a smaller class. You get more one-on-one attention. So be there. Let's move on. Get rid of that. Command W, don't save. And we'll go to bridge and playing around with swirls again. I'm out of control. I'm doing too many things. Let's start with this one. And we're going to show you the power of Camera Raw. Um, People removal. This has been going for a little bit of time, especially in Photoshop. They've had it. Camera Raw is getting it. It's not as good in Camera Raw as it is in Photoshop, but it is still pretty cool. So let's go ahead and go to uh, the Remove tool in Camera Raw and go to People. Give it a second, and it says, those are the people that I see. Well, that's pretty much all the people you see there. So hit Remove. And it does, what do you mean? What do you mean? Try it again. It does take a little bit of time, especially if there's a lot of people. I ran one earlier today that took 2 minutes to run it versus this one's only 30 seconds, so it should go fairly quick. Um, After you erase them, you can bring them back or you can leave them there. Or before you erase them, you can say, okay, I don't want to erase this person. I want to erase this person. And now they're gone. So if I click on, say, this one here, I can delete and bring them back.
Yeah.
Um, or no, I don't want to do that. It won't go forward. Let me try. There we go. Um, or I can also come over here, delete that person, bring this person back. Um, so when you select them, what you can do, let's go ahead and do the people again. So it selects, never mind, reset it. Let me move this out of the way because I can't see. And did you know that when you hold the Option or Alt key in Camera Raw, it goes from cancel to reset. So down at the bottom, we'll hit reset, do the people again. I said, do the people again. So I can say, I want to keep this person here. So I can click on him and click remove and then never mind, that didn't work. Wow. I'm still tired from Texas. These guys wore me out. So I can delete that person from the list. He's going to stay or she's going to stay, whatever it is. Click remove to take them out. And you notice it didn't pick the biggest distraction in the middle here. It left this big distraction right in the middle. Um, I don't know why, but what it says is this guy's in focus, so he's supposed to stay. So we're going to keep him. You can manually remove him, but I'm not going to. And then we go to the masking tools. The masking tools, you have the newest thing came out 2 weeks ago, Thursday. You click on landscape, and it's going to say you have sky, vegetation, water, artificial ground, and natural ground. Natural ground and artificial and vegetation are pretty much the same there. And you also have mountains, and there's 7 total: sky, mountains, water, architecture, vegetation, natural ground, and artificial ground. So I'm going to click on create here, and the sky. We're going to start with the sky first, and I'm going to go to light, which is your exposure and all that good stuff. Once I click on exposure and make any changes to it, it's going to get rid of the red overlay, which is right there. And you can bring it back by clicking on the overlay again. And when it gets close to the trees, it's not very tight. Bring the contrast down a little bit. Color, we can tweak it, make it more blue. We can warm it up a little bit. I like it where it's blue, and then bring it down a little bit more so the exposure goes just a little bit darker. And then play with the colors. I mean, you can temperature, tint, saturation. You can play with point color. I'm not going to play with that. You can do dehaze, which would bring it down darker just a little bit. And then go to vegetation. Not a lot you can do with that at nighttime, but if you bring the exposure up, really exaggerates long hair. You see the haloing around the trees. So the more you push things in Camera Raw or Photoshop, you're going to see haloing. And that's one thing you don't want to see, whether it's an art print or a print competition piece. You definitely don't want to see that. You can bring the shadows up, highlights down, which help with that itself. Color, bring saturation. You're not going to get a whole lot of green at night, but that's okay. Um, and let's open it in Photoshop just for fun real quick. And you see that it turned it that nice, beautiful blue with the image there. You can also open up Camera Raw filter in Photoshop and do the same thing. You have landscape in the masking, detecting, and I want, okay, it's not picking that up as architecture. It's not picking up the building there. So let's get rid of that. Take my magic tool, the remove tool, and just hit enter real quick and it's gone. I mean, that works wicked cool. Or you can go up to find distractions, people, it'll find it for you really quick. Hit enter or the checkbox at the top and he's gone. I mean, it's just that easy. So I'm going to close that. Any questions on that so far? Hearing none, I'm moving on. Let's go to this one. Same area, same thing. I'm going to open it really quick in Photoshop. And then, you know what? I'm not going to use this one. I changed my mind. Command W, don't save. Let's go to this one. And I'm going to do a comparison in Photoshop and then also in Camera Raw. So I'm going to open up straight like that. Shift back to Bridge and reopen it again in Camera Raw. I'm going to try to take out the person there. So I'm going to go to people. It says unable to detect people in this photo. Well, there is a person big and bold right there. So I'm going to hit cancel and close that, go back to Photoshop and see what Photoshop does. I have not tried this yet, by the way. This is kind of a, okay, I've got two peoples. Those people are gone. And then it's detecting this saying, okay, this person is actually your main focus in the picture. So if I go like this, it can't find the people, but I can. And that people be gone. Just that easy. So the remove tool is just a little bit stronger than finding people as a distraction in Camera Raw. But let's move on to this one. First thing I'm going to do before I remove people is I'm going to try auto for exposure, and that's the auto exposure. And then you have adaptive color, which does the same thing. And now you can come down to light, and you can see it's zeroed out here, where if I do go back to Adobe Color, do auto, it does the sliders for me. So I'm going to undo that, go to adaptive color. So I can make any changes I want. If I want to bring up shadows, bring down the highlights, I can add a little bit of contrast so it pops the sky a little bit. Color, not going to mess with color. I'm happy with that. Detail, I can denoise it. I shot this at 400 ISO. I don't think I need to denoise it. Effects, maybe a little dehaze and a little bit of clarity and a little texture to kind of pop the sky a little bit more. And now I go to the mask, go to landscape, architecture, sky, and I'm just going to do those two for now. And you can see in the sky that it bled over on the building itself. So what I have to do is subtract, go to brush, and I'm going to take my feather from 100% down, way down, click here to subtract, shift click, and it gets rid of that. And I just clicked on the upper left-hand corner. So if I click there, shift click here, it goes all the way across and take everything out on straight line. So click, shift click, it goes down, and you can see it went in a good distance there. Right there, you can see a little bit right here. Okay, we're okay with that. And architecture, I'm going to bring the shadows up a little bit, see if we can peek inside the Lincoln Memorial. And you can see barely see inside right now, but if I bring the shadows up to about 50 or 60, you can see inside the building. Now comes the fun part. We're going to go to the remove tool in Photoshop or in Camera Raw and say, let's take out the people. And this will take about 50 seconds to take out the people. It's actually going around, and for the most part, it's actually taking out shadows as well. That's one of the things you have to be careful of with Camera Raw. It doesn't see the shadows on a regular basis. So you just got to be careful about that. And if it doesn't, you can use a brush and brush in more masking to get rid of the shadows as well. And we're at 61%. We're going, going, going. Any questions while we're waiting for this thing to catch up? Fine, be that way. The new stuff in Camera Raw is kind of, oh, that did not do well there at all. So let's go ahead and reset.
That's an epic fail.
That is a 100% fail. So let's go back to adaptive color and we'll just say open and we'll take it into Photoshop. And the first thing I want to do, I'm going to hit the crop tool, hit straighten, and because this is bothering me, the guy who shot this picture cannot keep a good angle there. Now let's see what happens when we go to the remove tool, find distractions, people, click OK. It missed one I can see already, but that's okay. And come on, let me pull you over. There we go. Let's take that out too. I'm not sure if that's a people or a statue, but it's going to be gone. And that one. So compared to Camera Raw, it's not perfect because you can see the bricks didn't line up perfectly where we took out people. But from a distance, that's not bad. And when I first looked at this on the left-hand side of the stairs, I'm going, is that trash or people camping there? And it turns out it's snow. It was darn cold that weekend. And the remove tool is good for more than just that. We can take out the distractions, the manhole covers, and it only takes a second to do. And once you get that done, then you can go into your Camera Raw filter, and it's Command Shift or Control Shift A, and we'll go to the masking tool, go to landscape, and we have sky, architecture, and vegetation. We'll just do those three. So we'll start with the sky. Same thing again like we did in RAW before. Play with the exposure a little bit, bring it down just a little bit of contrast. Color, yeah, we'll tint it a little bit. Do a little dehaze to kind of emphasize things a little bit of clarity, a little bit of texture. And that's about all I'm going to do to the sky. Architecture, what we did before, we went inside and did the shadows inside the memorial. So let's go ahead and take the shadows, drag them up again. Shadows are up. You can see inside the building. In fact, we could even, it's too bright. Do that. And then vegetation. Let's make some, just a slight increase in exposure and contrast. Color, bring more green in. Maybe change the temperature just a little bit upward. And there you go. You can see inside the building, no people running around. That is doggone amazing to me. I am shocked how well it works there. And over here, I thought that was a dust spot. That is not a dust spot. That would be a 737. But you know what? I need to make them go away. So I'll open in Photoshop and go to Remove Tool. Say goodbye. Airplane shot down. Just that easy. We'll go to the Crop Tool again. It feels like it's off. We'll go to Straighten again. Corner to corner there. There we go. That feels a little bit better. Amazing what you can do in Camera Raw and Photoshop. It rocks. Don't
Michael,
save. Yes.
I'm kind of wondering what would happen in Camera Raw if you did that removal of the people before you did your adjustments. It's almost like it's leaving a little ghosting there. You follow
Okay,
what I'm saying?
let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and there it was. Okay. Reset to default. There we go. And we'll go to people, remove people. This time it's 45 seconds instead of 50 seconds, so we can wait. That's a good question. I thought about that when I first did it, and I should have gone after it right then, but I didn't. So,
Maybe the same, but we'll see.
yeah, that's one way to find out is just experiment with it. I mean, what do you got to lose? A couple seconds? And some of these I have not played with before. I just thought they'd make great examples, so I just pulled them in, and sometimes I'm surprised when they come up and what they do. Well, I'll be Hutch. You're right.
Hmm.
Now we can make the corrections. And it looks like it actually did the stairs a little bit better than Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yep, you were right, sir. Good
Every
call.
once in a while.
Okay, Grand Tetons.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Oh, well.
Go for it.
Um,
That's why we're
so
live.
I usually use Lightroom.
Uh-huh.
I'm not familiar with Camera Raw. So is that another program or is that in uh, Photoshop?
That's part of Photoshop and Bridge. However, the develop module in Lightroom is basically the same thing as Camera Raw, except there are times when they will put stuff in Camera Raw first because it is a standalone where they can modify it, where the develop module is part of Lightroom. So pretty much exactly the same thing, maybe a month behind, if that makes
And
sense.
yes, thank
Okay,
you. And,
you bet.
is it part of what I pay for monthly or is Camera Raw an addition?
It's part of what you pay for monthly.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. And let's go to landscape, see what it comes up with. We have sky, mountains, vegetation, water, and natural ground. So let's see what we get. I'm going to start with sky first. Bring the exposure up a little bit. I'm going to bring up some saturation in the clouds. I love the purples that we have. And you can just play with how much you want in there. Temperature can go either direction. I'm going to leave it right at middle. And if you go too far over here and say, well, I don't like that, just double click on the slider and it'll take it back to 0. So that's a quick way. You don't have to bring it back and try to lock it in 0 because sometimes you just don't get there. There we go. Got it. Maybe a little contrast up there. A little clarity to pop the clouds a little bit. I don't think I'm going to dehaze it, so I'm going to bring it back to 0. And then we'll go to mountains. Definitely want to bring them up a little bit brighter. Bring up the shadows especially. Just a little tweaking here and there just to get the things that you want. Let's go to vegetation, which is cool. And the thing about vegetation especially is you want it to match the scene. So if you bring up the vegetation too far, besides getting the ghosting, it doesn't match the darkness of the scene and it just doesn't look right. And if I bring it up too much, it starts to ghost, and I can take the highlights down, take the whites down, bring the blacks up a little bit, go to the water. And again, you can play with the water a little bit. And then color, probably add a little bit more blue to it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing. Vegetation. I think I want to go back to color and warm it up a little. And just give it a touch more exposure. But not too much, because then it starts to ghost. And you got to watch, like over in this area here, you can see the ghosting going on around there right now. So you just got to be careful of that. And then the natural, maybe just a touch of exposure. It is so hard to make it match how you want it to. Then you can take it into Photoshop and do the same thing, step by step. Like, I'm not happy with that at all. I give it a 77. This is straight out of camera right now. But again, it shows you, click on landscape and it shows you the different ones. You have mountains, architecture, vegetation, and natural ground. And it's, okay, cool. We'll create it.
Mike, are these adjustments in Photoshop itself or Bridge or in Camera Raw only?
Right now, this is in Camera Raw. I can go ahead and say open and bring it up in Photoshop itself, and then go to the Camera Raw filter. So it's filter down to Camera Raw filter and do the same thing.
Okay.
You're just not playing with as many pixels when you do it in the Camera Raw filter.
Thank you.
You bet. And I wish there was a button that said select all, but there's not. Of course not. So we'll start with the mountains first. And you can do all kinds of cool stuff to it. Bring it so it's, again, effects, clarity, which gets rid of a little bit of haze. And then you got dehaze. Dehaze will enhance the light colors and darken the dark colors. So you can see that happening. Architecture, same thing. I wouldn't play too much with that itself, because it came out pretty good, I think. We'll warm it up a little bit. And then definitely when we get to the vegetation, we're going to want to warm up the trees, because that's, and the grass in front. You just play, and that's all I'm doing right now is I'm playing, and you guys are watching me play and probably bored watching me play, but I'm having fun whether you like it or not.
Hmm.
And then effects, a little dehaze on it, Clarity, a lot of clarity. I'm gonna bump it way high just for fun. And go back to the before, after, before, after. And that's before I get in and paint it and do all that fun stuff that you can do with it. It's just so much you can do right now with Camera Raw. I don't need to take out any people. I would probably take out this no trespassing sign because I wasn't trespassing then. So go to the remove tool and just take out. Make sure when you use the remove tool that you give a little extra around it. And what that does, it tells it, okay, take a look at the stuff around and make sure you get the whole thing. Because if you don't get that corner there, it's going to try to rebuild. So we'll hit that, show you not great. Go back and we'll leave that corner out on purpose. And it's going to say, well, you want me to build something. So, and it didn't really, that's a bad example this time. Make me look bad, dude. Yeah, it's not doing a great job with that. And I don't know what's in the corner over here. Same thing, take care of that. And with the remove tool, you know that you can just circle it and it will fill it in for you. That's not bad for almost straight out of camera. So we'll go to crop, make it a little bit of a pano. And here's the trick for doing a vignette. Go to the Camera Raw filter, go to masking, radial gradient. I'm going to draw a radial around my building there. I'm going to invert it. You can either hit X or click on the little box that says right next to radial gradient. That inverts it. And then we'll just drop the exposure down. Make sure my feather's up there. Good. And so there's a vignette there. You can't really see it. So you have before and after. The thing to remember is when you do that, make sure, let me go back and redo it just for fun. Radial gradient. Make sure that you have a good feather going on, because if you don't and you decide to do a good strong gradient, it shows up like that. And believe it or not, judges can see that and they'll tell you how bad you're doing. Why are you laughing, Hutch?
Those darn judges, they sure see a lot of stuff.
Boy, don't they? And when it pops up on the screen, you go, oh God, I hope they didn't see that. I missed it. And they go, well, would you look right there at this? They must have missed that.
You know, and
With
that sign, I wonder if you selected the sign above the rail and then below the rail separately. Because I got a feeling what it's doing is trying to rebuild that rail and not doing it, mucking everything else up at the same time.
well,
With all-
actually, probably the best way to do it, take your lasso tool, come in, get that, get that. I was just trying to save my generative fill points. Click on Gen Fill, click on Generate, and it's going to come out perfect. Come on. I said you're going to come out perfect. If the remove tool doesn't work, the Gen Fill normally does.
Yeah. It's still fussing with that fence rail. That's why.
Yeah, that one's not bad. And then if you wanted to flatten it down, go to the remove tool again. I'll just take that rail out,
Yep.
and there you go. That's much better. Not perfect, but when it's zoomed out, you're not going to see it
Unless
So-
you're a judge.
unless you're a judge. And I've seen judges judge and go, well, you can see a little bit of distraction here, and they're pixel peeping, taking a look deeper than what they should. They should be looking at it full screen. Whoops, Command 0. This is what their screen should look like. And some of them will, well, let's look around in here, see what we got. And you can see, oh, looky. Those look like telephone lines there. Let's see what happens. See if it can do it. Wires and cables. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I didn't notice those before, and it did not see them. So all I would do is get me a little bit bigger brush with the remove tool, click there, come across over here, hold the shift key, click there. Now I don't have any wires. So we're back to the old school days when the wires weren't there. So questions, comments, concerns? Anybody? Feel free to speak. I make fun of you when you ask if you can. You're more than welcome to ask questions or make comments or make fun of me. I don't care.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a problem with a photo that's a dog standing on a box and then her shadow's on the left, but there's a blue leash from her neck down to the bottom of the screen, and then it's on the shadow as well. So those cables and wires would be great. Can you tell me, you're in Photoshop, how you got to wires and cables when I'm in my system?
Yeah, you go to the remove tool, which unless you take my class, it's under the spot healing brush tools right here. Normally it's
Okay.
between spot healing brush and healing brush. I actually have mine separated out, and I gave it a keyboard shortcut of R for remove to make it disappear. So when you go to the remove tool, which is that one there, all you got, and I can't believe that Photoshop on my update put those cartoon videos back in again. I don't like those. On the toolbar, you have the size of your brush, plus or minus, so you can add or subtract your remove tool. Under Find Distractions, you have wires and cables. So wires and cables, it may not do the leash, so you might have to do it with just painting. Like we'll go into this building here, we have this smokestack coming out. So you just have to paint out the leash. Feel free to go over just a little bit, which it won't hurt it. And it pretty much took it out.
Okay.
That should be the easiest way. Otherwise, you got to use a clone stamp or healing brush, and it's a little torturous.
Yeah, I found out.
So, it practice. So,
Thank you.
any other questions?
Just a little off topic, how are you doing with the reflection remove tools? It's not doing much for me.
It depends on, I don't really have any reflections to work on, but when you do, well, let me go back to sharing again.
I'm talking about like a reflection on a side of an airplane or something like that. It's
Okay. It only works in Windows when you're like shooting into the window.
yeah,
The reflection on the side of an airplane, a car, any of those,
any metallic object.
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Um,
so it's not just me.
no, it's not just you. Julianne did a reflect. She had a car she put in a composite she was doing in Photoshop at our class, and she had reflections in there, said you can't take those reflections out. So if you're shooting into a building and there's a mannequin standing there, it'll take out your reflection. Or if you slide it, let me go and bring up the reflection tool. Let's go to camera raw. We'll open that, go to reflections. And just a reminder, if you're doing reflections, you have to go to your camera raw preferences. So we'll go to camera raw preferences, and on technology previews, you have to click that so it's turned on. Otherwise, none of the previews, distraction removal, denoise, or anything like that will work. So, and then once you click that on, close it, restart it, and then it should work. So we'll go to reflections, click apply, and it won't, I'm sure it won't do anything here on the water. Yeah, it didn't do anything. You can slide the slider back and forth so it can either look in or look out, depending. So work with that slider right here, and a lot of times that will help you too.
Yeah, the slider is basically telling me it doesn't work.
Yeah, okay. It does. It works great for Windows. Like if you're inside the building and you're shooting out,
Right.
it'll take care of that. But as far as reflections off of a car or a jet or something like that, yeah,
So
you're
you kind of have to have an image behind the reflection for it to work, I guess would be the,
yeah.
you follow what I'm saying, yeah. Okay.
Any other? Well, let me see if I've got one handy real fast. I don't know if I do. I don't want to have you guys sitting here for hours and hours. No, I can't find what I'm looking for, so. Aha, here we go. And go back to Zoom, bring it up, share, okay. And here we have a reflection of a bald guy taking a picture in a window. So if I go to the remove tool, go to reflections, apply. It doesn't take long. So that is at 100% positive. That's the inside of the building behind me. You can see that's
Oh,
my
that's
living
cool.
room. And it considers me part of what it sees outside. So it didn't work very well there. That was the starting point. It took out the inside of the building except for me. So it thought I was part of the outside as well. So no, it's not just you, Hutch. It's Photoshop.
Yeah. Well, we
Any
know what the tool does.
Yeah, but it's getting better. Things are improving a whole lot. I'm happy with it. Other questions? Going once, going twice.